All right. This is a game I think you guys are really going to enjoy. A lot of crazy tactics going on. Just a basic E3 Queen's Pawn, Bishop F5 variation. So, as you see, computer said C4 is best, which it is. You know, need to hit at the center since he's not doing anything in the center himself. So he plays the best move to defend the pawn with E6. Knight C3. I like Knight C3 better because Queen to B3 allows him to play Bishop takes B1, which is kind of annoying. It's not great, but it's just annoying. I like the knight on C3 first. That's just me personal. Knight to E7, defending D5 is a good move. Now Queen to B3, which, you know, hits the D5 pawn and the B7 pawn at the same time. Combines attack and defense. So, hey, I'm going to open this position. Works for me. So now one of the things that needs to be done, obviously, capture that, win the pawn. If he's going to give it to you, you take it. Computer didn't care for this. I didn't even realize I could do the move that computer said. Well, instead of telling you what it said, let me ask you what you think the computer said. What do you think white should play here? It wasn't obvious to me, so don't feel bad if it's not obvious to you either. If you need to pause the video, go ahead and do it. And we'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, I played what I thought was the obvious move. Bishop to C4. The computer said, for those of you who found this move, congratulate yourself. Knight takes knight. Because if he takes the queen, I take the queen on C8. That was what the computer said was the best move. I played what I thought was the obvious move. Well, to me it was obvious. Was Bishop to C4. But like I said, the computer said knight takes E7 is better. Okay. I'm figuring this is still a good move for white. Now the computer says question mark exclamation because it believes knight takes E7 is far superior. It's not that Bishop C4 is bad. It's just that it's not as good as the knight move. So that's how the computer evaluates it. It'll give you question mark exclamation even though it's a good move. Because the other moves is just substantially better. Now that's looking a little iffy. You know, and this guy is a strong player over 2,000. Real strong move in theory. That is, you know, knight B C6 is the kind of move you want to play in general. He was threatening knight to A5. He got his queenside knight off of the back rank onto its best square. It's hard to call that an inferior move, but the computer likes something else better. So I played Bishop D7. I mean Bishop D2 to stop knight A5. Durr. I don't want him trading off my bishop, you know, obviously, or my queen. So that was a fairly basic thing to do. Also, one of the things that happens in this opening variation is that white will play rook to C1, and you'll get some discovery positions, some discovery attack opportunities against the queen when it's sitting on C8. So it's like Bishop D2 is a twofold move. It clears C1 for the rook and also stops the knight from forking the bishop and the queen. So he's like, well, I'm going to get this bishop out of my face. I'd rather you didn't. I like it right where it is, sir. So A4. You're not going to get my bishops out of the way anytime soon. Again, man, this computer just loves knight captures E7. I like the tension myself. But, you know, It's hard to argue with the computer. I like the tension. I thought the tension was very good for white. Another move the computer says isn't that great. Well, but if the computer says knight takes e7 was so good, if you get the knight off of there, you can't take it, right? I mean, he's trying to develop his pieces. It's hard to fault black for wanting to develop his pieces. Knight g6 I thought was decent. You know, good, solid move. You know, he could play bishop to d6 or bishop to e7. Me, I'm just getting my pieces off the back rank for developing purposes as well. Castling is what I'm looking forward to doing, obviously. A5 is like, well, okay, I really don't know what that's for, but I think he should have just played bishop d3 or bishop e7. But it's like he's trying to play something to b4. I don't know about that. To be honest, I never saw knight to g5. It just never came across my vision. It looked like white has a substantial, you know, positive position in the opening, and the computer agreed with that. And I was feeling very, very good about my solid position. I figured, hey, if I castle, all I have left is that rook on a1. So in a 3-minute game, castles was the move. I never saw knight to g5. But knight to g5 is a very good move. Because he can't play bishop takes d5, because bishop captures bishop on d5, and then f7 is just horribly weak. He'd have to play knight to d8, and man, he's just going backwards. Hanging on, but going backwards. Now that move is not good. This is a perfect time. And when I saw this, I knew that this was the kind of move I was hoping to see. He makes a move that's bad, well, I'm going to just jump all over his position. So, what do you think white should play here? If you need to pause the video, by all means do so. And we'll be right back. And we're back. All right. Now, please tell me that you saw bishop to b5. Computer said best move, which to me was the move that I obviously needed to play. You know, he just, that Swiss cheese queen side on the white squares for white is just screaming bishop b5, and we're going to pile on this like nobody's business. I'm going to jump on this like Paul Morphy. Bishop d7, probably the only move that's good. Because he could theoretically play queen to b7 and defend this, and even, you know, knight can go back to e7. Now, here's the story. We have this knight under attack. We had it pinned. It's no longer pinned. It can move now because the bishop is there to take up the, what do you call it? Fill in the job of blocking the bishop check. So he's threatening to play knight to b8, for example, and liquidating that vicious white squared bishop. So what we have to do is you have to see this move. Knight, he's threatening knight to b8. So we need to do something that is going to bust his position open if he plays knight to b8. So now that I told you that secret in the position, see if you can figure out what to do. Pause the video if you need to. And we're back. All right. I hope you saw that the way to get him, if he moves the knight, is to get him on c7. Rook A, C1. To me, once I realized what he was doing with knight to B8, I realized that I could hit him on C7 with a devastating knight check if he moved his knight. I played rook to C1. It was a fairly easy move to play, but that's due to experience. For you guys with lesser experience, if you found rook to C1, very good. It's a little harder for you to find it than it is for me, because I mean, I'm playing the game and I'm rolling, as you could see. So I think, again, bishop to D6 would have been the move. But queen to B7 is also pretty good. So now he's defended the knight twice. We have it attacked twice. Again, that knight cannot move in the future either because of the devastation of knight takes C7 check. Or in a different case, possibly rook captures C7, depending. So here's another one. White to move. What do you do? If you need to pause the video, go right ahead, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, now I've given you the hint. I told you I was going to jump on that knight like Paul Morphy. Do any of you know the famous Paul Morphy game? I know you have to have seen it. You just may not remember who did it. So, if you figured out what to do playing in Paul Morphy style, you figured out this move. Rook exchange sacrifice. We're going to rip the C6 knight off of the board before it gets a chance to move away. And then we're going to clear. This is a clearance sacrifice of the exchange. The clearance is we're clearing the C1 square for another friend. Okay, he plays the best move, which I anticipated. That's not really any shocker. Now, hopefully you have the answer for this one pretty quickly. What move would you play here as white? I'm assuming you're not going to pause the video. And if you said this move, congratulations, you've learned what needs to be done in this kind of position where you're trying to exploit a pin. And that is to play the other rook to C1. So, the problem he has, his bishop cannot capture that knight because it's pinned. And if he plays bishop captures bishop, knight takes C7, check is crunchy. It's just crunchy. So he's got a really bad position due to a stellar rook exchange sacrifice that the computer didn't even think was the best move. It liked that knight to G5 better. I was like, dude, I've seen Paul Morphy's game. I need to just play rook takes knight. It's also the Bobby Fischer type move. I decided instead that queen takes check was better because I'm threatening to win his queen if he gets crazy. You know, he cannot go to E7. He can't go to E7 at all. But I'm threatening to also win his queen depending on what happens here. So I figured, hey, I'm going to let him sweat and see what's up. And of course, queen takes bishop check is the best move. I figured this would be the move he was going to play because he probably didn't see what I saw. The computer says, of course, king to D8. And if you saw what I saw, you'd see, and the computer sees it, of course, because, come on, the computer is super strong. tactically, you can't hide anything from this computer. So the computer saw it, and I saw it. Both of us thought king d8 was better. My opponent didn't see it. And this guy is over 2,000. Very good, really good player, obviously. So what happens is this. Chop suey. What are we going to do? It's your move, white to play and win. What would you play here? You might need to pause the video for a little bit. And then we'll be right back. And we're back. So, you really have two choices. Queen takes c6 or rook takes c6. Hopefully, those of you who found the right move, which is the one I played, congratulations to you. Rook takes c6 is the best move. Now, to me, I did it more of feeling versus strict calculations. Just the sword of Damocles effect of having the rook on c6 threatening to unleash a monster discovered check was what enticed me, number one. I was looking at rook takes c6. I go, man, I don't see how he gets out of this. So I'm going to do it. And I did it. I didn't see how he was going to get out of this. And he played a move that I literally had not considered. That's a stellar move. It's still losing. But he played the best move, and that's a killer move. It loses, but this guy's doing what you're supposed to do. Make it as difficult as possible for the guy to find the winning moves. So, yet again, white to move and win. How do you continue the attack? I don't think you really need to pause this video. I'm going to assume most of you have found this move by now. It's fairly basic stuff. If you didn't, that's fine. You just understand what's going on. Is that after all this maneuvering, yada yada, what are we? We're down in exchange. We've sacrificed the exchange, and we have a commanding position. His development is just rancid. Rooks in the corners, bishop on the back row. He's playing this game. The knight is over there and has got the best spectator seat in the house, okay? He's got a queen developed, and I got 5 pieces out there. My black bishop isn't doing much, so we'll call it 4. All right. This is the move that basically jumps out at me, and it should jump out at almost every player. Crunch! It's like, man, this guy, he cannot survive this discovered check that's coming. He survived it, for one move and made me think to find a good move. Luckily, I found it. It wasn't too lucky, but I'll take it. So now, what did this guy do? I think he played... No. Yeah, the computer says he should play rook to d8. He plays rook to b8, which I looked at that and it was like, what should I do? It's a clever move, but it's not any good. And I was never tempted to play anything other than the move I played. Once again, white to play and win. How do you continue? This one is, I don't know. I think you might need to pause the video because this one's going to take a little thought. There's some stuff you have to check. So I'd say pause the video and we'll be right back. And we're back. Okay. So we really have actually you have 3 moves and they all win. There's 3 moves that, that wins 2. I mean, taking the queen probably wins, okay? Let's see, if we take the queen, he takes our queen. We take his rook. Pawn takes b5. we're winning this, but it's not as great of, I mean, it's not the greatest win of all time. But you're winning because bishop takes a5 and those two passed pawns against his non-developed pieces is probably toast. Okay, it won't take much to win that, in my opinion. There's another move that wins. I never even considered this during the game, and I'm looking at it going, dude, this is a killer move. And that is rook to e6 check. If you saw rook to e6 check, bravo, because that is an awesome move that I did not see. Rook to e6 check checkmates him. There's nothing he could do. So I know some of you guys have got to have seen rook to e6 check, but it is a killer because the next move is queen takes queen mate. Just a fantastic move. Okay, so hats off to you guys if you found rook to e6 check. Me, I saw the other move, and I said, well, let me just analyze this because, you know, I found this move. It looked so fantastic. I thought, okay, I go rook to c8 check. It's just the best move. I mean, okay, whatever. It's the same basic story. It's just the same kind of thing. Rook to e6 is probably better because he technically has a terrible defensive move that he loses, but he's not getting checkmated. He can play king e7, which, you know, is not checkmate. Instead of, you know, taking this rook. He can play king e7, queen takes queen, king to f6, knight to d5 check. And I think that's mate. But I played this move, you know, which is fine. It's okay. No problems. But I think rook to e6 check is actually better. He doesn't have king to e7. King to d8. Yeah, I mean, he's just, he can interpose. He can't interpose the queen. He can interpose the bishop. Oh, okay. Rook to e6 is not better. My bad. It is not better. My move is the better move. Yes, because he could play bishop e7. I take check. He is just getting annihilated. But technically, he is running away to not be checkmated. As if that makes a big difference. Okay. I still think rook to e6 check was a devastating move. That you laid this on someone in a tournament, they're going to go, oh man, that's bull. I quit. So this one, you know, and I checkmate him. Okay, no big deal. You guys got this. Okay, but I had no idea that there was that many, like, critical type moves that you had to play to mate this guy. This was a fantastic game. Let's look at this for a second. We are, after we won his queen, we have essentially a knight and a queen versus two rooks. That's the differential. But, you know, both of us, the bishops for both sides are worthless. So, you know, whatever. I mean, but at least the black squared bishop for white did a job and kept that knight off of a5. So, go back. Let's go back here. See, I think this all starts with the ripping sacrifice. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 big choice moves in a row, that's a lot, really, for a chess game. So it was pretty awesome. You know, like I said, the computer did not think my exchange sacrifice was the right move. It thought, you know, that wasn't the best move because it would tell you star, and it's not a star move. It doesn't think it's the best move. It thinks I had a better move. And to me, I think that was the best move. because you see what you see, the virulent attack that just came after the exchange sacrifice. He played the right move. So did I. He played another good move. Wow, now bishop to c5. I mean, but that's just losing. I mean, now granted he's losing anyway, okay? So this one again will stave off the mating attack. What do we have here? We're going to eat his bishop. We'd play this. See a double attack on this knight. Oh, he can never take that knight. He can never... Oh, yeah, he can. He can mess us up bad. So, yeah, we have to take this bishop. If we take his bishop here, he plays bishop takes bishop. Check, pawn fork. Well, not too bad, actually, because we can play rook. This is dead. We can play queen takes b6, and we're okay. So this looks like it's okay. We could play a takes as well. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's okay. You know, you could play this. This is fine. This is certainly winning for white. We're a whole piece up as it is. I'm sorry, no. Take that back. We are 2 pieces against a rook. And pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 pawns and 2 pieces against a rook. That's a substantial edge for white. White is winning this game right now. No question. It's not a gimme win, but we're winning. All right. So that's okay. Bishop to c5 is just solidly losing, but he's not getting destroyed like I destroyed him. I thought that was a pretty, you know, good-looking move. Bishop to c5, only a computer would play that. Because it looks like, you know, again, king d8's the move, all right? King to d8 is the move. Now the question becomes, oh, probably knight to g5. See, right here, we're still in exchange down. Now, we could play rook takes c7. Rook takes c7 looks like a winner of a move, although he's got queen to here. Oh, no, he doesn't. He's probably going to have to give up his queen here. Yeah, it likes knight to g5. He can't move queen. He can't move queen to anywhere except take the rook because queen to d7 is mate. So I really don't know why he thinks knight to g5 is such a stellar move, because this is just looks like it's, you know, threatening checkmate basically. He'd take it. And now what do we have? Well, we got queen versus 2 rooks. All right, let's go back and see why it likes knight to g5. I still think rook to c7 was better, but can't argue with the computer. I mean, but he can play c6. I mean, well, sort of. Rook takes c6 is the natural move. Threatening, you know, knight takes b6 or rook takes b6. But he's got, I mean, I'm threatening again rook c7 to defend that pawn. This is not good, but he's still alive. All right. We're down in exchange. You get 2 pawns for the loss. We got 2 pawns and a knight against a rook. That's our differential, which is pretty good. You know, real even on material. But our attack is just flaming. It is flaming. I don't know. Could he play this? No, that's terrible. Well, it just gives up a bishop, and we're annihilating him. I don't get it. The best move. And now we've got 2 pieces for a rook and 2 pawns. 2 pieces and 2 pawns again for a rook. That's not good, man. He's just getting crunchered. I don't know. He could probably just go play. Yeah, knight to there is his best move. Okay, well, go ahead. Oh, I see. That's interesting. If I move this to here, he takes my knight. I could do this. Queen takes check. Queen takes, rook takes. What is this? The best move? No, rook d6. He's okay. You got me. I'll take it. I'll play rook d6. Tremendous. Man, this guy, I don't know how he's surviving this. He's got 1 move, really. He's got knight to there, but then he gets crushed here. So check. I'm going to get him with that. Was his best move. This has got to be the best move. c6. Craziness. Unbelievable. Like I said, this game was a crazy tactical game. I've got him. But only a computer could conceive of the defense to defend this trash position. That, you know, just, that's the thing. When you do these pins and these rook sacrifices to intensify the pin like I did, psychologically, it's super difficult to defend. And you saw this guy, an over 2,000 strong player. He folded faster than Superman on Laundry Day. And it's not because he's not good. It's just that difficult. This is not an insult to him at all. These kind of things are super difficult. And when time is low, the difficulty raises up. Yeah, I mean, I love this exchange sacrifice. It's hard to, you know, it's hard to get these things. And then this one just went smooth as silk. You know, c6 is not the best move, but man, what's the best move? It's hard. You know, there's nothing. It's not. This is not an insult. This is what you hope to do when you're attacking like this. You hope to make a defensive task that's so difficult that no one could possibly do it. And you know, a really good player failed to handle it because it was bad for black. And it, you know, the best he could do was like bishop to c5. A move I never would have seen in my life because it's a computerish move or a grandmaster's move, whatever you want to call it, man. I mean, it's just super difficult to play. So I thought it was a terrific game with just loaded with lessons on how to proceed with a pinned piece and then the exchange sacrifice and how you pile up on a pinned piece. I really don't think I could, you know, I don't think I've never had one that I thought was better than that. So that was fantastic. So I really hope you guys enjoyed that. It was so good, I think make sure you tell your friends. You guys know what to do. I'll talk to you later.